Joe can't get it done anymore. So bring Shedeur Sanders up with the young kid, the lefty,
Gabriel.
And now your first and second team are the young quarterbacks. That's what we want to see. And make no mistake, Alex, we talked about this yesterday. You said there's 2 first-round picks that they have next year, right?
Yep.
So this is about, let's see what we have. Are one of these guys going to be our quarterback moving forward?
Right.
And to me, look, I was saying something about Shedeur Sanders. And to me, I just know this kid has so much.
So Alex Smith just lit a match under Cleveland with what he said about why Shedeur Sanders isn't starting. And this one's got more layers than a playoff playbook. Forget the on-field drama for a second. What Smith hinted at sounds like it came straight from a behind-the-scenes NFL docuseries. Did the Browns really sideline their future star for that reason? Buckle up, because what Smith just revealed could make every Browns fan rethink what's really happening behind those locker room doors.
Yeah, I think there's always something to build on. No moral victories whatsoever, but I think regardless of result, week to week, there's a process, and more time you spend around anyone, you're going to get more continuity, and that's, QB to receiver, that's QB to running back, that's us as a whole unit coming together really, and getting comfortable with, our unit.
If you're locked in right now, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps way more than you'd think. Because Alex Smith just dropped himself right into the middle of the NFL gossip universe, stirring the pot with his version of why Shedeur Sanders isn't starting for the Cleveland Browns. And let's be real, anytime a segment begins with Alex Smith reveals the truth, you already know what's coming next. Some mix of chaos, controversy, and a little shade wrapped neatly in football analysis. But this time, it's not just another hot take. It's a full-blown roast of how the Browns managed to turn one of college football's most electric young quarterbacks into a perfectly upright sideline spectator. Somehow, they took swagger and turned it into stillness, confidence into caution, because, let's be honest, the Browns have practically earned a PhD in confusion. If there's one franchise capable of turning a 5-star quarterback into a glorified waterboy with sideline Wi-Fi access, it's Cleveland. This is the same team that once stared at a halfway functional roster and said, "You know what? Let's blow it up and start over again."
He's looked efficient, right? He's got the ball out of his hands. He's only taken 1 sack, hasn't turned the ball over, hasn't put it in harm's way. He's got the ball to his playmakers, and they're in this game.
Meanwhile, the fact that he is starting is obviously a significant story. There have been very few situations like the one in Cleveland this year where they draft him in the 3rd round and then they draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. And the immediate reaction here, Rex, from you was the fact that Dillon Gabriel is the starter and Joe Flacco is the backup is interesting.
Yeah, because it should.
So when Alex Smith steps up and says there's truth behind Shedeur's bench status, every fan in Cleveland leans in like it's the first episode of a true crime docuseries. And apparently, the truth isn't about numbers or arm strength. It's about vibes, trust, and whatever spiritual philosophy they're trying to manifest in that locker room. Let's start with the basics. Shedeur Sanders isn't your typical rookie. This isn't some 4th-round flyer still figuring out how to call an audible. This is Shedeur, the guy who turned Colorado football into a national spectacle. He walks into games looking more like a luxury brand ambassador than a backup quarterback.
Other people will say, Dillon Gabriel is a really good quarterback. There's nothing wrong. There is a problem with that. I don't want a quarterback out there who's just out there and my receivers and my running backs are not getting any yards. I need receivers and running backs who are getting me dimes, because every time you get a dime, I'm still on the field. The clock is still running. I am in possession of the ball, and the ability to make points is available to me.
But the confidence is real. The precision, the poise, the calm under chaos. He's got all that before even touching a full NFL season. And yet, here we are. Cleveland's got him wrapped up like a limited edition collectible. Flashy, valuable, and sealed tight for future use. The same franchise that used to beg the football gods for quarterback talent now seems allergic to it. So here comes Alex Smith talking like a wise old quarterback monk, hinting that there's more going on than what fans see on Sundays. Oh, really? Because fans are already connecting dots, like it's a group chat investigation. Did someone in the front office feel threatened by Shedeur's spotlight? Did he sit in the wrong locker? Did he outshine the so-called franchise favorite during practice reps? Or maybe, just maybe, the Browns can't resist, turning simple choices into full-blown puzzles, because chaos has become their brand identity.
I want to see him out there like anybody else.
Yeah.
And why the hell he's not out there? It
makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense to me.
It makes no sense.
No sense.
You hit the nail on the head, Rex. This year, about the rest of this year, should be finding out if either of these kids can be a starting quarterback, right? And the fact that he's not bumped up to backup, something's off. Something's wrong, right? Again, given his ability, his track record, where they're at right now as a team, as a QB room with Joe Flacco, again, I don't understand why this guy's not the backup and ready to roll in case something.
But here's the kicker, Alex. Smith's big explanation, apparently, comes down to development and preparation. Oh yes, the NFL's favorite bedtime story. Because nothing says developing a young quarterback like forcing him to sit back and watch a veteran take 12 sacks a game. That's not mentorship. That's trauma disguised as education. Cleveland's version of QB development is basically learn by watching someone else suffer.
Shedeur thinks this is the greatest out. I don't know what you want me to do. I was told they don't want to hear me, but I can't give my actual answer.
So
you want me to do coach speak?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what quarterbacks do. That is what NFL rooms want. Now, fans, his followers, his supporters, sports media, obviously, we've all talked about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everybody has hit it. We love that this is happening, but I don't know if it's necessarily the right move for an NFL career, if that is what you're looking for. But we don't know with Shedeur. Once again, all you need is one team to be like, that's fucking hilarious. We wish we would have done that to Rex.
Meanwhile, Shedeur's on the sideline, watching the same slow-motion train wreck unfold every week, probably wondering if he accidentally got cast in Groundhog Day, quarterback edition. Every drive ends the same. 3 plays, a punt, and Kevin Stefanski chewing gum like he's trying to solve the crisis through jaw strength alone. And let's be honest, Browns fans are done pretending this makes sense. Smith's revelation is like saying water's wet. Everyone already knows Cleveland's got trust issues. They don't trust the process. They don't trust the quarterback. And at times, it feels like they don't even trust themselves. Every young QB that walks through that building gets treated like a ticking time bomb, polished on the outside, mishandled on the inside, and somehow blamed when it all explodes. And here's the real twist. Alex Smith, of all people, should know how this story plays out. The guy was the walking definition of good but replaceable.
Listen,
I always looked at the quarterback room as this. It's just like this kumbaya sort of. These guys come out of here and they're arm in arm, holding hands and all this stuff. They sit right next to each other in the front row. They do all these things together. And Cleveland messed this quarterback room up on draft day, in my opinion. I mean, you draft a kid high in Dillon Gabriel, then you draft not only a competitor but a pretty good quarterback in terms of Shedeur Sanders. So they're confused and they're competing. So how is it working? And you also have Joe Flacco in there. I don't know how much mentoring Joe Flacco is doing because he knows he's on his last leg. He's on his way out. And these guys are probably as old as some.
He lost his job to a rising star simply because he was too steady, too predictable. So when he says Shedeur isn't starting for reasons beyond performance, you know we've entered messy territory. He's lived that movie, the veteran who nails every read, every check down, and still ends up holding a tablet like it's a consolation prize. But let's be honest, Shedeur Sanders isn't wired to be a backup. Everything about him screams starter. His confidence, his posture, his control, it's all frontman energy. You don't stash that kind of presence behind a struggling quarterback and expect him to play the quiet understudy. That's like parking a Lamborghini in the garage and insisting on taking the minivan out just to play it safe. Yet here we are, Cleveland, the place where logic goes to retire. You've got Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Primetime Sanders, built with swagger, precision, and leadership running through his DNA, sitting on the bench while the offense sputters. Every overthrow from the starter sparks the same echo through the crowd. Put in Shedeur. It's not just a chant anymore. It's a mix of frustration, hope, and disbelief.
People want Shedeur to be satisfied as QB3, emergency quarterback, a bag-up quarterback to Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel. Why Shedeur should be satisfied with that? ESPN Get Up Greeny told us on ESPN Cleveland that he couldn't find nobody from the scouting department, GM, to come back and tell them that they had Shedeur Sanders rated as a 5th-round draft.
And when Alex Smith mentions some so-called bigger picture, you can almost hear the front office spin machine warming up. Because in NFL language, that phrase usually translates to, "We don't actually know what we're doing, but this sounds smarter." The Browns have been chasing that bigger picture since the Reagan era, and fans are still waiting for someone to finally finish the painting. And to his credit, Shedeur's handling it like a pro. The kid's keeping calm, staying composed, doing everything by the book, because he knows patience is part of the grind. But you can feel it underneath the surface. Every warm-up throw looks like a statement. Every rep is a quiet protest. He's not just waiting, he's loading up. It's that calm before the storm kind of energy you can sense even from the stands. The ironic part? The Browns seem convinced that sitting Shedeur somehow makes him more prepared. Right, because the best way to adjust to NFL speed is by never actually facing it. That logic makes about as much sense as trying to teach someone to swim by letting them watch. YouTube tutorials from the pool deck. Alex Smith's truth feels like a polite way of saying what fans have screamed for years. The Browns don't know how to manage talent. When you've got a quarterback with Shedeur's command, precision, and composure, you don't tuck him away like an intern. You build around him. You give him the keys, not a clipboard. Let him make mistakes, learn fast, and grow into the leader he's already shown he can be.
I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders now.
Yes, sir.
If he believes there's no way on earth that I should have dropped this low, that is something more than football, then why would you allow something outside of football to contribute to whatever you're projecting?
Right.
You know, not me, not Stephen A., not RC, not Dio. You know, if you're Shedeur Sanders, this is what they did to me. And then you're sitting around and allowing fodder to be displayed where somebody's able to say, that's why we did that to you.
Right. Yeah.
You don't do that. So that's all I would say to him again.
Meanwhile, the offense keeps looking like a buffet of missed chances. You can see it in every frustrated glance. The receivers craving rhythm, the line searching for direction, the fans desperate for something to believe in, and the answer's right there on the sideline. Wearing number 12, holding a helmet that should have been on the field weeks ago. Cleveland's front office will tell you they're protecting Shedeur from early burnout. Protecting him from what exactly? Winning? Because that's about the only thing this kid avoids. He's not built to crumble under pressure. He's built to thrive in it. Throw him into chaos, and he'll still find a way to turn it into a highlight clip. You can feel the tension building every week. Each loss, each missed throw by the starter adds another layer to the storm. The media's circling, fans are restless, and then there's Alex Smith, dropping hints like a man who's read the final page of the script and knows how this story always ends. The young, talented quarterback eventually gets his shot, and everyone pretends to be shocked, like they didn't see it coming from miles away.
They don't care who's number one. The worldwide news right now is 3 is still 3. Why isn't he 2? The world wants to see him get this chance. This reminds me of the Bronny situation. Dillon, you want to be Quincy. He was the one who got that contract. You want to be 3rd. You want Shedeur to go out there and then have a horrible time, and then you come in and have good moments. So you look good. You going out there first, no one's rooting for you. Unless you out this mother perfect, everything you do is going to be a target.
Because when skill meets discipline, it's unstoppable. Trying to contain Shedeur Sanders' energy is like trying to bottle a thunderstorm. Eventually, it's going to break free. And deep down, even the locker room feels it. Players talk. They know who commands attention, who lifts the vibe, who leads without trying. You can't manufacture that kind of presence. It's either in you or it's not. And Shedeur's got it, naturally. Meanwhile, the Browns keep selling the idea that experience beats talent, when everyone watching knows what's really happening. They're not developing, they're delaying the inevitable, and the countdown's already ticking. And let's be real, the NFL runs on storylines. They love their redemption arcs, breakout moments, and new face of the franchise headlines. So when Shedeur Sanders finally steps onto that field, it won't just be a debut. It'll be an event. Not if, but when. Because once the Browns cave and hand him that starting job, it's going to feel like a movie premiere in Cleveland. The kind of night where fans realize they've been watching the future warm up in plain sight all season long. Alex Smith probably didn't mean to toss gasoline on the fire, but that's exactly what happened. His truth turned quiet frustration into open anticipation. Now, every camera at practice locks in on Shedeur. Every throw becomes a headline. And no committee meeting or trust the process speech can calm a fan base that's sick of 3-and-outs and wasted Sundays.
Me and just went haywire about the stuff that the NFL did on Shedeur. So why Shedeur is supposed to just sit back and say, hey, I'm in here in practice looking at Joe Flacco, a 41-year-old quarterback, and the way he playing? Come on. And I'm looking at Dillon Gabriel in practice, getting balls batted down at the line of scrimmage, throwing balls where ain't no wide receivers at, and I'm supposed to sit back and be happy? No, bruh, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Shedeur is not satisfied being QB3 on the team.
The Browns think they're being patient. In reality, they're dragging their feet on their own success. The league doesn't wait, momentum doesn't pause, and confidence like Shedeur's doesn't fade. It demands action. It demands opportunity. And if Cleveland doesn't give it to him soon, the moment might pass them by before they even realize it. And if Cleveland doesn't wake up soon, they might end up watching Shedeur Sanders light it up somewhere else and regret not handing him the keys when they had the chance. Because here's the truth, Alex Smith didn't even need to spell out. Shedeur doesn't need more time. He needs a real chance, not token snaps and garbage time, not preseason hype videos. A genuine shot to lead. He's earned it. He's shown it. Now it's on the Browns to stop protecting their system and start protecting their future. The fans see it, the analysts see it, everyone but the decision makers seems to get it. This is about patience turning into payoff, about confidence finally being rewarded, and about a city realizing the star. It's been sitting on this whole time.
Turnover, he did this, and eventually you're going to be getting booed by that Cleveland Browns stadium. They want to see him play to see if he's good or not. That's just the way it is. No one cares about the rest. It's him, then Myles Garrett at this point. When we're talking about jersey sales, he's number one. At this point, if you're Cleveland, why are you still putting yourself under this guillotine? I understand why. You don't want to make yourself look stupid. We wanted him. We think he's it. He is the proven one, and we don't want you to go out there and perform very well. Makes us look stupid that we picture in fit. So you're fighting an inner fight anyway. There's really nothing you can do. So if you're Shedeur, he's not in a position to say, what the you asking me for? What do I need to do?
When that day comes, when Shedeur finally steps in, and the offense starts to flow, it's going to erase every excuse in one afternoon. All those development lines will disappear faster than a Browns playoff lead. The critics will flip. The energy will shift, and Alex Smith's quiet little revelation will start sounding like prophecy. Until then, Cleveland can keep pretending they're playing chess, but everyone else knows they're just moving pieces in checkers. But time's running out, and the truth's already on the table. Shedeur Sanders is simply too good to stay benched for long. Cleveland can keep spinning their strategy stories all they want, but there's only one reality that matters. When you've got a generational quarterback sitting right in front of you, you don't wait for the perfect moment. You create it. And if they don't, well, history has a funny way of repeating itself, especially in Cleveland. Because if Alex Smith is right, if all this really comes down to politics, fear, or image, then it's even more absurd. The Browns don't need politics. They need points. They don't need safety. They need spark, and that spark's name is Shedeur Sanders. Give him the ball. Let him lead. Because the only thing worse than losing is realizing you had the answer sitting there the whole time. Stylish shades, calm demeanor, golden arm and all. If you believe Shedeur deserves that shot, drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, share this with another Browns fan, and don't forget to subscribe, because this story is only getting started.